Welcome to Garage Chats.
Welcome to Garage Chats. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah. Happy to be here, Joe. How you feeling today, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good. I've had a crazy past, like, I don't know, what would you call, like 108 hours? The last, like...
It's like 4 days?
No, okay, maybe like 216 hours.
Holy shit.
Like the last 8 days have just been absolutely off the rails for me.
I'm not going to check the math on that, but I'm with you. Yeah.
It's got to be something like that. Somewhere around there. I'm Joey.
Yeah, this is Dylan.
We're starting Garage Chats. We are located in my garage right now. We've been doing this for about 7 years.
Yeah, 6-7 years.
This is the first time we've put a microphone in the room, and we figured we'd just let everybody in on what we've been discussing.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Like I mentioned to my wife that we were going to do this, and like, obviously she had some jokes about it. Two straight white guys starting a podcast. Classic. Par for the course. And she was like, well, what are you guys going to talk about? Like, what type of, what's it going to be? What type of pod is it? And I was like, it's a garage chat. Like, it's just shooting the shit with the boys. Like, finding some time to be together and just, like, enjoy the moment.
Yeah, there's no real boundaries for these conversations. Like, you get it or you don't. You've been a part of a garage chat or you haven't. Mm-hmm. And it's just those moments where, like, usually there's some sort of narcotics involved. Not for Dylan, though. Dylan's sober. Dylan is sober.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Dylan. How long has it been now?
Thanks, man. Yeah, 2 years in February. That's pretty wild.
I don't know if you want to talk about your sobriety right off the bat.
It's
a great way to open it up.
We're getting right into the meat of it.
2 years. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 years. No.
And that's sober from what?
Stop smoking weed. Like, that was the only thing kind of long going. And stopped smoking weed just before my son was born, and he'll be 2 in February, so that is anniversary for me too, if we want to look at it in that lens. Like,
that's pretty exciting, man.
Yeah, no, I feel it is. Like, it's kind of funny, we're talking about sobriety, so I'll run with that a little bit, but like, I always thought people were so phony when they would come and talk about like how different their life is on sobriety. And sorry if anybody's listening to this and that's a very sensitive topic for them, but I'll just talk about it from my experience. So like, I remember this one time in particular. Okay, so was heavily involved in like the rave scene, the music festival scene, and I was at this big BC music festival called Shambhala. Crazy time. And so I'm there, and I remember at the start of this, like in typical hippie culture fashion, everyone's doing this intentionality circle, okay? And so, they're talking about, what are your intentions, like at the festival or, through this experience?
Like, I want to live a healthy life going forward, those sort of intentions. Meanwhile, putting a fistful of fucking DMT in their mouth. That sort of intention?
It was different for each person. But I don't think you're too far off with that assessment. There might have been a bit of hypocrisy sprinkled in there. But
for generalizing.
I remember this one person in particular. She was sharing how, I think at the time it was like around like 6 months sober for her. And she was just like, if anybody has any questions, like, if you need support or, advocacy while you're going through this, you want to chat about stuff or chat about alternatives, like, you can always come to me and whatever. And I just remember sitting there being like, yeah, okay. And she's like, like you can still have so much fun being in a place like this and being sober. And I remember it just like sinking into my brain. I was like, yeah, that's just, you're 100% cope with that statement.
Just a fish swimming upstream.
That's exactly right. Like you're not even like, it's not even that you're not preaching to the choir. It's like you're preaching to the biker gang.
Yeah.
You know, like just so, and again, she had great intentions. She's a super wonderful person. Like this isn't a knock against her, but like, it was just from what my mindset was, from my perspective was at that moment, I just couldn't accept a reality like that. It just seemed foreign to me. I was like, there's no way that you think it's going to be as sick for you as it's going to be for me here.
Yeah, like you
know,
you think sober's sick. Like, have you ever have you ever tried MDMA?
That's it.
And seen something you never thought you were going to see?
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
Exactly, man. That's it. And so, like,
putting yourself in that position of like, yeah, understanding. I don't know. That's an interesting one. Like, understanding your position then versus your position now, you can respect what she has to say a lot more. Like back then, like you're saying, just shouting into the void at that point. Like everyone around abusing drugs and that sort of thing. She's the one person kind of preaching against it. It's also like, pick your venue, pick your listeners. I mean, that's a very direct, confrontational approach to sobriety. Like, everybody approaches it differently. It takes a lot of people a lot of different things to get off drugs and get off whatever it may be, alcohol or nicotine or whatever I struggle with, all of the above. No, I am drug free except for marijuana. That is a little something about Joe. Do not like drugs. I think that's like a very clear thing for me. I think drugs are... It's a different world these days. Drugs have no place in this whole thing. But yeah, I didn't mean to like take you off of where you were going with that. I think that it's just like, yeah, being able to, I think a lot of our listeners, yeah, definitely understanding that, like, respecting her point of view now is different from being in the moment of like, while you're on those drugs and experiencing those things and having someone tell you to like turn the other way and not do what you're doing. Yeah, respecting those at different times in your life is something that takes a lot of reflection.
Well, and I think too, like it comes in its own stage, you know, like, and there's obviously levels to it, you know, like it sounds kind of funny to say that, but it's like, there's levels to it. Like there's some people that I think are like, I'll use the word, they're kind of like scared sober. You know what I mean? It's like, they're like, man, if there's one thing in the room that's like it, like I'm right back in, you know, you guys can't be doing this around me. Like, you know, like they're scared sober, you know, like it's an aversion thing where they're like, no, I can't, like none of this. Whereas like for me, and there's also people too that are like, I don't drink coffee. I don't, you know, I don't eat any sugar. It's like, there's things where people can be, you know, ascetic in their dietary, lifestyle, otherwise things. And, you know, for them, that's what constitutes like sober living. For me, it was just like really like substances, you know? So when I say like, oh, I'm living like sober life, 2 years sober, it's like 2 years sober from all these substances, you know? And really, like, fuck, I might be addicted to coffee. Totally, you know what I mean? Totally. I love a cup of coffee every morning. Is it damaging on my life? No. You know, if that's the razor that you're using to decide like what's an acceptable thing for you and what's not, like adversely affecting your life. You know, you think of all these people who are like quote unquote functioning alcoholics. Totally. Right? Yep. Who it's like, oh, it doesn't affect my life negatively. If anything, like it improves aspects of my life when I do this. So it's like, you know, there's so many different ways to kind of conceptualize what that means for the person. But, you know, for me, like, man, I just feel at peace. That was like the biggest change for me, I would say. Like mentally, I have so much more clarity and focus, but like I have peace. Like when I was like smoking constantly, I would feel this like imminent pressure to smoke. Like any activity that I was going to do had that link to that smoking time like connected to it, where it'd be like, even if it was something I really enjoyed doing, in my mind, like the precursor in order to get into that state of maximal enjoyment. Right?
Whoa, that was a great hold on, chat, back that up. That was holy shit. Okay, really though, you are making a great point, and like that is something like I've struggled with smoking weed for a long time now, and like in some aspects it's great, in some aspects it's not. Like I started smoking weed at a late age too. I didn't really start smoking until I was like 17. It was after that car accident that I was in. And like it just like at the time it helped me like manage a lot of the stuff that I was dealing with, and over time obviously just grew into a dependency. Like exactly like you're saying, it's just like you got to pay the toll, you know, if you want to play the game. Like if anything I want to do, like it's just so much better with the toke like right beforehand. Like if I want to go work out, if I don't take a toke beforehand, it's just like, even in my mind, like I don't need to, like when I do work out without it or whatever, if I go like play hockey or something, you know, like it's just great, rip one before I hop on the ice. Like if I don't, I play fine, but like that like 10 minutes where it's just in your brain agonizing, being like, this would be so much better with the toke, this would be, you know, battling that when it's tied to every single aspect of your life is a tricky one, I feel. And it's interesting when you have like, I feel like for me, like it is like kind of like a scared sober kind of approach when I look at weed, and it's almost like I've been like waiting for like a big like monumental life thing to happen where I'm like, oh, I should like quit now because of this. And I feel like I've had a few of those now, and I just haven't, you know, I just feel like, oh, it's not quite the one. It's not quite the one that's going to do it. So that's interesting. Talk to me about how you just cold turkeyed that.
Man, so like I think first it has to start with talking about cold turkey and booze. So like that was the pregame for me. You know?
I wasn't gonna mention that. I asked you about your sobriety, and we just started talking about weed. But I mean, yeah, man, my biggest congratulations, man, just as a friend, dude. It's just like your overall sobriety that has been pushing how long now?
Thanks, bro. Yeah, 11 years.
11 years, dude.
No drop of alcohol. Like, stopped when I was 21. I'm 32 now. Stopped just before my 21st birthday, and I'm 32 now. And so, yeah, like 11 years, like pretty crazy to think about it in perspective, but it's like, yeah, man. So like the cold turkey thing, for me, it was like, and I don't know.
That's how you got off of alcohol?
Oh, yeah. And like maybe I'm like a weird use case with it, because for me, there was no difficulty in it. Like I think like we have this idea in our cultural memory, you know, from all the things we've seen through media and otherwise, that like you imagine someone trying to stop doing something cold turkey, and it's them like, you know, wrapped in their bed sheets, sweating in the bed, just hating life, hating this whole, and you know, for some people, where like
if I run out of my weed for 5 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, for people that have like a heavy dependency on something, you know, that's very much like, that can be a common occurrence. And like, you know, there's even like, I'll pull a little bit on like the psychotherapy background, but it's like, there's even people where like, if you're, for example, like alcoholism, if your alcoholism is heavy enough and you just stop, your body can go into like emergency mode, and like it can be like lethal for you. Like it's crazy. It's like, so you literally sometimes have to like level off. If you're that deep in, you can't just like hop out with both feet. It's like hopping from a building and expecting your legs not to break when you hit the ground, you know? It's such a big jump. It's such a big distance. But for myself, like, you know, I think back to, you know, this is 11 years ago, and like I think back to kind of like what my lifestyle was, and like the things that were normalized for me, where I grew up and like how I grew up, you know, like I grew up in a really small, like I'd argue a pretty blue collar town on like the Northwest coast, you know, had my first drink when I was like 15, you know, regular staple from 16 onwards, birthdays, parties, all this type of like, you know, anytime you got together for a big social event, there was always booze and attached to that social event. Right. And so for me, you know, I kind of say that like...
like really quickly, like what is Terrace known for? What is like, give me like a broad idea.
Hockeyville 2009, baby!
The craft hockey shit, yeah, the craft Hockeyville. 2009, Terrace, British Columbia.
Built us a new arena, literally took us out of school so that we could vote on the computers in our school to win for Terrace.
So like industry-wise, what do they do?
45 minutes away, there's a Alcan, like, aluminum smelter.
Okay, so we're
That's
talking,
like a big one.
and like how far away from Kamloops? Like north. We're talking north.
talking Kamloops to Savinaw distance, but like
no, we're talking like how far away is Terrace from Kamloops?
12 hours
Driving.
Yeah, so Joe and I live about like 2 hours away from the U.S. border right now.
Oh, more than that. Way more
do you
than
think,
that.
too?
2 hours to Kelowna, buddy.
But like heading to like, you know, getting around Surrey area, you go in by like the early exit.
We're 3 hours. Okay, 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm sorry. You got a lead foot.
Yeah, 2.5 hours buzzing over the Coquihalla.
Yeah.
You're in the States, right?
Okay.
So we live in southern BC, right? Where I lived, I was 10 hours from Alaska. So
Northern British Columbia.
yeah, 10 hours from the Yukon, 3 hours from the edge of Alaska.
Great. Okay, I just kind of wanted to like give everyone an idea, like you know, like what it looked like for you growing up.
And so like long ass winters, lots of rain. You know, we were 45 minutes from the ocean one way, hour and a half the other way.
As a 16-year-old, there's not a lot to do.
Man, there's not a lot to do in this town. Small town, man. Like I think when I was growing up there, like 13,000 people.
Okay, so not a lot to do on the weekends. It's cold. Everyone's inside. They're partying.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, drinking's a common thing.
Common story in like the small towns in, you know, northern BC and
sure.
in Canada in general, I think.
Yeah.
So anyways, I grew up with it. Those normal things. Man, I had a lot of really dangerous close calls was really what it boiled down to. Some, you know, things where it was like, wow. Like I reflect back on this now and like I don't even want to say what they are because it's like it would probably like it'd make my mama cry. You know what I mean? But like suffice to say, like close calls.
All right.
You know, close calls that were like reckless, just absolute recklessness that you only do when you're like, you know, 19 years old and like 10 cans deep, you know, like just recklessness. Yeah. So I had a lot of those that, you know, thinking back on it, it's scary. But there were also times where like I was just not a fun person to be around when I was boozing. Like had a lot of issues with like identity and self-value when I was like growing up. And so like obviously, you know, booze just amplifies however it is you're feeling, you know, times 10. And now it's like you're either feeling really good about yourself or really bad about yourself. And then your behavior is going to showcase that. And so, you know, I ended up like, I had a period where, you know, I hurt a lot of people who were very close to me. And it was just this cycle of like, you know, excess, recklessness and excess. And like, you know, had a relationship at the time when I was in like my like late teens, like very early 20s, where like a lot of our activities would be like, you know, drinking related social activities, things like that. And like that just put me into even more of those like, you know, needlessly reckless situations. And then it was like, I heard this crazy story from my family that like kind of just put things into a crazy perspective for me. And it happened like within a month of me deciding to quit drinking. And it was this like, you know how people talk about like they saw a sign,
right?
You know, like there was this in a totally not hokey way, man.
Just as you saw the symbolic thing.
I saw a sign. It was symbolic, right? Yeah. Maybe I'll talk about it in the future. I feel like it's like, again, like it'd make my mama cry. Like, you know, it's just too close to home of a thing.
Totally,
but like,
absolutely.
You know, like essentially I found out some things in my like family history, let's put it that way, that made me realize the importance of that decision of stepping away from alcohol. And then after having that like realization, I was like looking at my life through that lens, being like, holy shit, like so many of these things that have like impacted me throughout my life were influenced negatively by like people around me consuming alcohol. And so like it was like this long-standing thing where like there's this historical component, there's this current component, and then there's like me in the moment
perpetuating,
looking out at the future, being
right,
like,
sure,
holy shit,
being scared of perpetuating
man,
all of that.
Exactly
rather,
that.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I grew up like always wanted to have a family one day. You know, I'm very happy to be a dad now. Was always expecting to be a dad, was like something that like I avidly look forward to. And so now like, and like in that moment being that kid back then, like I remember thinking, being like, wow, like if I don't stop this shit, like my son is going to grow up in an atmosphere where he has to come home wondering if dad's going to be like drunk when he comes home or this or that. Right. And like all the shit that comes along with that. And I was just like, you know, my wife's going to have to.
You just saw every decision you'd have to atone for
100%
in the future if
just
you were to
like,
keep drinking.
Just this negative feature of how it was for me just manifested in like this potential of who I could be if I just let that path continue.
Right.
And it was like eye-opening for me. And I was like, wow, I don't want that. And like at that point, like once that decision was made where it's like, I don't want that. I don't want that to be part of my future. It was like a switch flipped in me. And it's like from that day, like I literally like from that day onwards, there was never even a desire to booze. Like,
right.
you know, I'd been in, it's been 11 years, right?
Cold
like over
turkey.
a decade. Cold turkey for me wasn't like, I'm making this decision and suffering to get here. It was like, I've made this decision and I flipped this switch in my head. And now here I am in this phase, this new phase. And like, that was it. There was no looking back. Like I could be completely surrounded by someone. I could be in like a, you know, setting where lots of people are drinking otherwise. I've been in, you know, countless ones since making that decision, but it's never ever created that impulse in me to like drink again.
Right.
Like, you know,
and you don't, I think something that's interesting with that too is you don't hold, and so again, this isn't a slight to other people, right? Because there's people, like you said, that are scared sober. Like, you don't hold the people around you responsible for your addiction.
That's it, man.
And I think that's like, again, I'm not saying that is like, you know, the only way. I think it's like the responsible way, right? Like you are able to, yeah, be around people that are drinking, not expect them to live their life a certain way because you've done the legwork. And I also think like, yeah, like you said, like people misconstrue the idea of the whole cold turkey quitting to just be someone wrapped in a blanket and shivering and going through withdrawals.
Just hating it.
Hating it. I think that's like one way to go through it if you don't do the mental legwork. Like you just explained how you had done all this like critical thinking about your past, your present, your future, your family tree, like all these factors that might have influenced you to abuse alcohol at that age, like a lot of people do, and that's like goes untalked about. I know a lot of people that had drinking problems in their late teens, me included, and like it was just encouraged, if anything, and just having like this, like the awareness to withdraw from that. But it's either, I feel like you deal with one or the other. Like you go through the mental anguish of kind of realizing like life's fucked up.
Yeah.
And like everyone around me, love them to death. They're blood, but and just like every other human on earth, they're just, for lack of better words, they're all fucked up. And like we're only human, you know, we're only human, and it's like we all have our skeletons, and we all have our quirks that we were born with and predisposed to, and like kind of realizing that once you take like, you know, your mother, your grandfather, your great grandfather off of these like family hierarchical pedestals and be like, man, they were only human and they suffered from these things, and unfortunately genetically it's passed to me, and like it's my responsibility to kind of stop this.
Yeah.
You know, and just kind of acknowledge this. And it's either you go through that, and then I feel like you're able to do the cold turkey without the blankets and the sweats and that sort of thing. But if you're not willing to do that, you just go through the cold sweats and the blankets and the mental stuff comes back. So it's interesting to see, like, you have had, like, no, as far as I'm concerned, I feel like we're pretty close. Like, you haven't had, like, any slip ups. You haven't had anything where it's like you even in the slightest have shown like shit, this could be nice, you know, if I just finished off that toke you're taking or something. Because it's like, man, you just know, like, what you have right now is so much better.
That's it, bro. That's honestly it. It's like the peace of mind that you have after dealing with that imminent pressure that I was talking about before, being free of that, not to mention like the other, you know, symbolic aspects in your life that you see all this improvement in, and that you have kind of tied to this sense of meaning and that's directing that action. But like, yeah, man, to trade that peace of mind for anything, it's a losing trade. And
You sorry to interrupt you, but you speak about directing that action. You've been directing some action over the past 2 years as well, since you've had your son born.
oh yeah.
You have gone back to school.
Yeah.
What a change.
Man,
Tell
what
me
a
about
change.
all this roller coaster that you've been on over the last few years of working, deciding to have a child with your wife, getting married,
Yeah.
having a dog,
Yeah.
a home, and then going back to school after completing a degree.
Yeah, man, it's big changes. Like, I want to just give one kind of like final word on the sobriety topic, and then let's hop full force into like the lifestyle changes and otherwise. But like, this is more, I guess, just kind of like a consideration for people out there. There's a psychotherapeutic angle to it, but I'll talk about my experience. So I think that if you're a person right now and you're challenged with substance abuse or another type of addiction that just is taking a lot from you, I think it's super important, kind of like the avenue that worked for me, I guess, was finding something more important than the absolute best experience that you could imagine with that substance relationship. And like, I kind of made like for example, with the drinking, I looked at my family, both on mom and dad's side, alcoholism, like decades of alcoholism, right? Stretching back to before they even called it that, you know, growing up in homes where these types of habits were normalized by their family, you know, and then carrying on those same things, whether it was always damaging or not, you know, most of the time it's very, but most of the time it's not. Sometimes it can be very much so. And just passing on those things as being normal, those cultural factors as being normal. For me, like that big symbolic connection, that thing more powerful than the best experience you could have had drinking, was this idea that I would be breaking generational curses that had affected my family line. And so the importance and the value of that reality was so much bigger for me than the reality of continuing being a boozer. And so like in a similar way, like when I decided to stop smoking weed, like, you know, Joe, you mentioned earlier talking about, you know, like there's been things where you're like, maybe I'll stop. But this one isn't, you know, it's not quite big enough of a thing. And obviously we were being, you know, jovial. We were joking about it a little bit. But, you know, I think if you're a person who's really looking for a change, we think of these ideas like, you know, everybody's heard of like a mental block, you know, and it's like, I can't think past this thing, whatever. I kind of tried to do like a mental block for myself, but like the opposite of that. Like people will use crutches. I was like, no, this is an anti-crutch. And so the anti-crutch was like this visualization of like me when I was smoking every day. I just imagined myself like in this like ravine beside a cliff, okay? And like you're getting, you're lessening your usage, you're getting closer, and then like finally it's like you're at sobriety. You've climbed to the cliff top, and now you're standing on the cliff looking down, and there's this ravine where you were. But it's a narrow cliff top, all right? And so like it's beautiful. You're seeing shit then and realizing the value of that view more than you ever could have when you were down in the ravine. But for me anyways, I know that if I was to allow myself to slide back down into that ravine, I was never getting to that cliff top again. And so like that was like the anti-crutch that I built for myself. That's like, my son being born was the most important, the most fulfilling experience that I think I've had in my life so far. Like there's a lot of ones that come close, but like, any new parent will tell you like that moment, getting to be a part of that, magical. Like it's truly a life-altering moment. And so like in my head, I knew, I'm like, there's never going to be another experience in my life that's as pivotal as this experience right now. So if not now, when? And I kind of hold myself to that, like 2 years out now. And it's like, if I allow myself to go into that ravine again, it's like all that was for nothing, all of that was really not as big as I said and thought that it was. And like, that's just bullshit. So yeah, like for me, like that's kind of the full perspective on sobriety, both in my experience and in, what I'd like to impart to other people on their journey. And, I hope it didn't come off preachy. It always, like I say, when you're having fun and someone tries to tell you you're going to have more fun if you stop, you're just going to be like, no, you're wrong. At least that's what I thought. But yeah, that's my piece on that. Now, bro, big changes in life.
Great piece, by the way. That was spoken by someone that has experience. All right, there's guys who talk the talk, man. You've walked the walk now for 11 years.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
It's pretty amazing, man, for sure. Congratulations.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate. I'm happy to be where I am now. Yeah. I don't think I'd be doing the stuff I am now.
And what are you doing right now?
Transitioning in. So yeah, went back to school. So
how old were you when you actually went back? Like, what was when you registered? Because you're how old?
I'm 32. I would have been 30. I would just like I would have been 30 when I registered.
Near the end of your
to go back
near
to
the
school.
End of 30.
Yeah.
When did you graduate with your bachelor's?
24.
24. So 6 years.
So we're talking like 6
and a half years.
6.5 years of like
completely unrelated from academia.
Just out there in the world, getting after it, you know? Like, my wife and I got married at 26, and then, bought our house the same year.
And you moved to Kamloops for school? From Terrace.
Like, in another town, like, close to Kamloops is where I did my, like, graduation stuff at my school, and then have lived in here ever since.
Okay.
Yeah, like I say, my wife and I got married at 26, bought our house that same year. That was just before everything went crazy. 2019, shout out. Shout out COVID.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, man. And so like I was in it, and it's like you're in it. I thought, all right, I'm done with this. I did my time. I got my undergrad degree. Like I'm out here, right? Like let's make this happen. I studied business in my undergrad, and so I was like, okay, like let's make some money. Like let's get after this.
Yeah,
like,
young with a dream and ready, energy.
That's it.
And what'd you do after you graduate with your bachelor's degree?
Oh man, I worked odd jobs. I was in sales for a couple of years and fucking hated working in an office.
Yeah.
Like, came in as the small guy on the totem pole and just like in various roles. Some were really good. Some I really enjoyed. What I was doing just before COVID, where I was like a manager of like a small business that did like essentially like window services and stuff for people in town was like pretty sick job. Like that one was fun, but like I just slaved away for a lot of years basically doing like sales admin role for different companies, and like yeah, man, like it is what it is. Like I didn't get paid anything great. Like, the degree gets you in the door, but like at that time, and in a place like Kamloops where it's a very like industrial town relative to the types of businesses that exist here. So if you come in, you're probably a salesman for a company here. It's not like a spot like like a Vancouver, for example, where you might have opportunities to work in something more of like a tech-based or an international business. Like there was, it was very industrial sector type shit here, which, at the time, like I thought was great. But yeah, man, slaved away, hated working in an office, ended up going from that to being a pot farmer. Like I worked on a weed farm.
Yep, trimming bud.
Legal weed farm. Shout out JT for passing that in the early years of his reign.
Yeah.
Prince.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't need to go there that early on.
But yeah, so I switched out that hat for working on a pot farm. I was I called a traveling salesman. I was like a traveling salesman trucker for a little bit. After that, I was a like program administrator for a seniors retirement community, which was awesome. Like totally,
you really liked that job.
Totally different from everything else that I'd done before.
And you're still continually actually working in that field.
I'm technically still in that field,
developing a business.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and then
you are a business owner in that field.
And then I became a business owner. So that was like something just kind of as my wife was pregnant, like within the couple of months before my and the immediate time following after my son was born, started my own business. And so I run a one-on-one, I'll call it like a coaching business for lack of a better term. I also call it exercise rehabilitation.
Yeah. Let me break it down. XHAB, exercise and rehabilitation for seniors looking to get their mobility back. Tons of seniors in our community have just been left with their kids on the other side of the country. Our country's massive and people are stretched all over the Key Liver province over. It could be a 14-hour flight. I mean, just in general, there's seniors that they don't want to stop moving. They want to keep being active, and they want more than what their assisted living offers them. Maybe it's like a once or twice a week program, and they want to add one more in with you, get the third time in a week, and just get their movement back.
Yeah,
and it's cool because nobody really. Obviously, people care. Like, I'm not saying people don't care about old people, but you know what? People don't. They don't care. Like it's tough. I've seen it firsthand. Like they go to these homes and they're amazing. The staff that work there are great. Like the food's great. The programs are amazing. There's always something to do. Like, and it's almost like there's so much to do that like they almost like they just let them go.
Yeah.
And I feel like having just like. Yeah, people forget about our old folks, man. There's not a lot of, I've looked it up. You don't have a lot of competition. Like, having seniors regain mobility and strength is something that we need a lot more of.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things where I don't think people don't really appreciate the difference it makes in their life until they have that back. And they're like, I was in this mode for so long, like I couldn't walk around my room without assistance with my walker. And it's like I work with some people where it's
they thought that was it.
They thought that was it.
Books closed.
And now, like, I worked with this one woman who had like severe neuropathy after getting surgery, and so like she had essentially no feeling from like her thighs down.
Right.
Got her working with the program. We did several months. She was then able to walk around her entire suite unassisted, could walk up and down 2 flights of stairs unassisted. And so it's like these little things that, I'm 32 right now.
I'm sorry, just like, I'm going to dive into that just because I know anyone listening to this would just be like, what do you mean? You know, like that just sounds, that's intense, you know, like you just like in 2 months got someone back walking. So like, what does that look like without giving away your whole program? Not that it's, you know, like something that you'd even want to be hiding from anybody.
So
but
it's like
what does that look like to get to have an older person regain movement of that scope?
Man, so it's, you start with an attainable level of muscular strain, and you graduate that as soon as you're able to complete it safely and effectively. So, for example, with her, we started doing things where we were trying to strengthen the structures responsible for her movement, right? So like her lower leg strength, her knee stability, her hip stability. So we would do resistance exercises.
So yeah, essentially just loading into extension and flexion right to a point, and then once the
taking through like large ranges of motion with control, so that like her muscles that had atrophied and also have, you know, essentially a limited electrical impulse going to them, right, from her nerves, like we were able to kind of not force the body, encourage the like regeneration of those centers in her through doing those types of mindful mobility based like protocols. And then once, you know, you're able to complete level 1, well, we'll move you up to level 2, and now we have more challenge incorporated with it, more range of motion, you know, more resistance we're working with. So it really it follows that principle of like progressive overload that, you know, you or me would use if we were going into the gym, right?
I just had just something to you to look into speed levers and resistance levers. Learning about this in anatomy would be something that you could look into for your programs.
Cool.
Just essentially like different like load bearing muscles and bones in our bodies that have like ability to lift more force versus being able to lift force faster. Interesting way to train. Definitely. I would say. Just something to look into. Sorry, I was just looking that through in my head while you were talking there, and I was like, this would honestly be something I did not explain it good enough, but that'd be worth looking into for you.
Anybody who's listening who has a you know, senior in their family who thinks they could benefit from this, and you live in or around the Kamloops area, you can always feel free just to reach out to me directly. Email xhabcam, KAM, @gmail.com. That's xhab as in exercise rehabilitation, XHABKAM @gmail.com. And we can look to set up a consult for you. But that's a lot of what's been going on in my life relative to my personal changes, you know, with the baby, everything else like that kind of comes into terms with it. I'm back in school now. I'm studying to become a therapist, which has been just an absolutely, again, totally different change from...
What sent you there, man?
Man, so like lots of deliberation, but like the starting point, funnily enough, was... something stemming from like a garage chat with Joe. It wasn't really a garage chat because we were out on we were doing a hike with some backpacks and
weighted packs.
The weighted packs hitting a little ruck out in the backwoods. But Joe honestly brought it up, and he was like, "Man, have you ever considered something like this?" And I hadn't in that capacity, and so I started. And I looked into it and was like, I think this could be like a really great fit for me. I felt it aligned a lot with like my personal values, and also like just a great opportunity to be able to like give something back to your community. Kind of like, you know, I've always been a believer that like if you're going to do something a lot, choose something that's going to give a benefit not only to you but to everyone you get to interact with in that regard. And so like, yeah, being able to, you know, make money while also doing something to help where you live and the people around you is just, that's fucking sweet. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm studying to be a therapist. So yeah, I'm sure we'll hear more about that as we have the future chats and otherwise. But I wanted to toss the ball back to you, Joe, because like weirdly enough, man, similar timing to me. Like you've had some major changes coming your way in the last little bit. What do you want to speak on that of?
Honestly, I want to speak about the Kawa Pride FC Kenyan football team making their push to the Kenyan Premier League.
Okay. Hell yeah. Big swerve, but we're into
I'll bring it back.
We're
But this has been pressing for me. All right, so I've been on YouTube lately watching this guy, okay? He owns a company where he makes sporting apparel, jerseys, what have you, right? Mm-hmm. Kits. Yeah. He recently purchased a Division 5 Kenyan football team, professional football team, for $1,000 US, 50% of the team, okay? And has been documenting the entire process in like 30-minute episodes on YouTube.
So when you say he bought them, like you're talking like he's like sponsoring their like equipment and stuff like that?
So
or
that's
like...
how it all started. They like were sponsoring, or they reached out to get a kit from him, and it was his first team in Africa that he had made jerseys for. So he looked into the team, found out they weren't like doing so well financially, knew one of the owners through like a different interaction at a different time of some sorts, and spoke with him, went down there, wound up purchasing 50% of the team for $1,000.
Wow.
Okay, now get this, man. This I've just been infatuated with like the entire story so far. I'm almost caught up with where he's at right now. And it's such an, like, just like, there's so many dynamics I want to come at this from. Like, it's so interesting. Like, at risk of promoting colonization for like the 600th time. I just think that it's such I think that the future globally right now is in Africa. I fully believe that. I think that language-wise, I think that there's going to be some major contesting happening in those areas, which is unfortunate, but I think like there's more Mandarin speakers right now worldwide than any other language.
Sure.
Which is awesome for the people that speak Mandarin. And I look at this and it's like we have small YouTubers purchasing businesses in rural, like Nairobi, Kenya, soccer teams, and like bringing this huge Western culture with them and vlogging and putting all these things together. I don't know, I thought it was pretty crazy that this is all just like available. I was watching it and I was just stunned though, but like, anyways, this guy's team is doing phenomenal. He's probably spent about like $14,000 US, rented out a mansion for the boys, has a cook there making 3 square meals a day, like bought them all a moped, pretty crazy access, like, and he's like trying to build this Division 5 team to the Premier League, which is like they play on a global level against like fucking Real Madrid and shit like that, like, which would just be insane, right? And
it's like this grassroots project.
It's a very great. They play on a dirt field, man. Like, it is unbelievable. But he's already just brought so much business to this area, and like there is like in excess of 500, 600 people there watching every game that they have, and it's just pretty crazy how just like a small injection of like overall $15,000 can just completely change the landscape, while also like he's now profiting. All his business expenses are like live, and he's letting people vote on like moves that they should do. He's almost running it like a FIFA video game franchise manager. And it's just so interesting to watch that like this is where we've almost like evolved/devolved to for business.
I mean, for the boys on the team getting those opportunities and getting those like major life improvements when they're all doing the thing that like they were loving doing, that we'll probably have continued doing anyway.
And then all of a sudden they're getting extra pay, they're getting all these extra stipends, and
they have this
amenities.
Notoriety that's attached to it. You know, everyone in their community is like, oh hey, like it's you, like how's it going, man, when's the next game? Like, pretty sweet.
It is pretty sweet, man, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want to like completely get hung up on that, but like, yeah, that's just. I wrote this down. You were like, maybe think of something to talk about, and I was like, you know what, man? First chance I get, I'm gonna talk about Kahawa Pride, the boys. I've been loving the boys, man. Yeah. So, what have I been up to, man? First of all, I'm exhausted. I was in New Brunswick last weekend. Grandmother passed. It's my last grandparent. No more grandparents for Joe. Interesting time. It was definitely like, don't get me wrong, it was a sad event, but it was time. She lived a good life, and it came to a slow end for everyone. But yeah, we got to take her back home, took her out to New Brunswick after she passed, and yeah, I mean, it was a good visit. We got to see all our friends. Got to go back to the house that my mom grew up in. Got to see the city. The time change out there is unbelievable, though. Like 4 hours ahead. I don't even know what time it is right now, but stack 4 hours on it. That's how I feel. And it's been affecting, like, everything in my life. From classes, assignments. There's been a lot of things going on. But yeah, no, so like on a life scale, holy smokes, I'm also back in school after like a 9-year hiatus of working odd jobs in sales and other things. Decided to take a crack at the Bachelor's of Science still, and honestly, I don't even know if we've chatted about this since, but I am switching my major.
Really?
Yeah, and program. I am switching out of the Bachelor's of Science program.
What?
I'm considering, at least at this point, looking at doing a major in sociology.
Interesting.
Specifically medical sociology.
Okay.
Doing my minor in biology. Okay, that way I'm like, unfortunately I'm not I'm not a calculus guy, and it's required for the Bachelor's of Science at DRU, and I cannot get through. That is just not something that is happening. I've tried 3 times. Doing okay in all my other classes. Really, like, it's a battle though. Like, it's nonstop. I don't even know where to begin with it all, but like, I've been loving it. It's been a blessing. It's a huge change up from where I was at before. I also just was like, I never had the undergrad experience you did though. So like, I just did 9 years straight out of high school thinking there's just no way I could, I needed school and anything like that. And I don't know, man, I'd love to be a veterinarian. That's been my dream since a kid. And so I went back and redid all my schooling, and yeah, I'm loving it. And it's kind of, it's humbling. I mean, it's eye-opening. I'm loving it. I'm learning. I'm, again, getting humbled in a lot of aspects too, where it comes to just like grades. And I think the problem is like, I know what I want to do going in. I've worked enough jobs where I'm like, hey, you know what, this like very small select few jobs really feel like they do it for me. And they all, of course, have their own expectations attached to them. So it's like, I feel like I just have all this extra pressure opposed to, you know, some guy named Ryan in my biology class, you know, whose dad went to university and whose grandpa went to university. And he's only there because they're paying for it. And he doesn't even have any idea what he wants to do. So a C+ is, C's get degrees for this guy. And so yeah, like, trying to manage the, like, I know I'm still early on in my studies, but like, I just have all these crazy internal expectations on me that, like, I mean, I've got time, you know, and I am doing really well, man. Like, compared to, like, and the thing is, like, yeah, comparison's the thief of joy, but also in that aspect, if I want to compare, I could also compare to how I used to be. Like, I was a C- high school student, you know. I played sports. I got passed. I got passed. So
that was such a funny caveat.
like, you know, like, I just, in comparison, like, I was C-, man, and then, like, you know, I look at where I'm at now, and it's like, I look at my transcripts, and it's like A+, A-, A-, B+, B-, and then it's like CCF. And it's like, fuck, that CCF, though, are just, like, eating at me, opposed to being like, you know what, I never got an A, probably from grade 8 till grade 12, not once, and like on like an overall course, you know, like the odd project, but yeah, no, and I'm just like crushing out like B pluses and A minus on the like the average. And I'm just so upset if I get like a C, dude. Like I just like can't even stomach the thought. Like,
I think part of that too is like, at least what I felt like, I always felt a certain way about going back to school as like a quote unquote mature student.
Yeah.
Which is like anybody over like
the age of 24.
24 who's going to, which is wild if you think about it.
I was not mature at 24.
Absolutely.
I'm just, that's not even what they mean by that. But
like,
it's like,
it's a funny thing though, like, because like you think about the perspective, like, you know, some kids go into uni right out of high school, you know, for some people that's like the protocol that they've been given, right? Yeah. And it's like, man, I remember being like I went to school just after graduating, fucked around for a little bit, studying whatever, until I kind of decided I took a gap year, came back when I was like, just before I turned 20, started doing like business, and that's what 24 grad and all that. But yeah, like it just, at 18, man, in the world we live in today, no one has any idea what they're going to be doing, man. Even if you're going to school for something, like you're going in, you're dropping 50K, or your family's dropping 50K, or you grind it out and now you've got a scholarship for that 50K. But like, bro, you're 18 years old with 50K debt in the bank. You know, you've never made 50K in a year. And it's just like, you don't know the
value of $50,000.
You don't know nothing, man.
Like if I had $50,000 right now, man, I could flip it.
That's it.
I hate to say that, but like, I've been on the streets for 10 years. I could flip a 50 piece right now.
Bro,
dude.
I'd
like,
buy
give me a week.
Buy a couple businesses.
Yeah.
You know, like there's shit that you learn. And so like, you know, sidebar that school's
my
definitely...
dog gave me $150 and I brought him back 3, you know? Like I could flip it by Tuesday morning, man. Like seriously, 50,000 and these kids are just blowing it. But no, so that's it. The other thing is I also know the value, but I feel like, man, the power of procrastination and just like just rolling over is it's so powerful, man. Mm-hmm. Even with a decade of experience and like having discipline in so many different areas of my life, sometimes I just find myself being a fucking 18-year-old kid who's spending my parents' money, even though it's not. I open my bank account, I want to cry, dude, and I see every cent I've spent since I started going to school, and I'm like, holy smokes, man. Like, but it's gonna come back because I know it's a long flip.
That's it.
It's a long flip.
It's a slow investment, and it's a differently paced investment for everybody.
You just hope if you're your kid, if you're putting your kid through university, 50,000, man. Not only are you like, that's, if I'm being honest, that investment completely relies on you. Like you gotta. I'm not saying you have to teach them the value of the dollars and tell them like that's like super abusive. Being like, I'm spending $50,000 on your schooling. You need this, and just being on them. But no, just like actually, it's an investment of your own money. Being like, wow, I raised this gamble essentially to work out. You know, like I put a good head on my kids' shoulders. Mm-hmm. They're gonna go to class. They're disciplined. They're respectful. They have all these traits that are like I've shown them what success. Not what success looks like, but what the creation of success looks like. So they emulate that, and I know that my 50,000, that's a good investment.
That's it. Well, and here's an interesting tidbit to chew on. So I think this was back in like 2022. I was reading this article. It was talking about segments of the population, okay, in Canada. So segments of the population who have graduated with some level of post-secondary versus people who graduated just from high school. Okay?
Right.
So this is all in the conversation of median family income. So I believe as of like 2023, 2024, the median family income in Canada is about $55,000 a year.
It's got to be more than that.
You would think?
It's got to be like 85.
Of like most people for their like single income, you're looking at like 85. You're looking at like 55K.
Single income.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying family income.
So I guess yeah, sure. What each person is bringing into it. If you're a person living by yourself, not married, not whatever, you're roughly 55K a year.
Okay, no, that makes
That's
sense.
where the majority
Sure.
of Canadians are,
Sure. I
right?
thought you were talking like a single, like a household. I was like a husband and wife.
But for
55?
how
No way.
close that majority is to the minority is crazy. So like 45% of Canada lives below that threshold. So just think of relative to a country, right?
Yeah.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Here's another feature. If you get a bachelor's degree, that's typically a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
You put yourself in the top 25% of the population who has that. So take that whole skew we just looked at, 25% of them are people that have a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
Okay. You go ahead and you get a graduate degree, like a master's degree. Now that's 10%. So you think about the relative competitiveness of, and yeah, not all jobs, especially in places like rural Canada, like places where I grew up, right? Degrees schmagrees, you know what I mean? It depends on your experience.
I just think that it's interesting.
But
Like, sorry to interrupt. I think this is where you're heading, but it's like the fact that our country has a gap of the top 10% are held back by a 6-year education plan. You can access the top 10% of wealth disparity in Canada by completing 6 years of university.
And the population of people that
refuses
you're competing
to do
with
What?
is 10%.
It's 10%.
Which is wild to think about. And now, is that going to be the same for everybody? If you have a, master's in history, are you going to make the same as someone who has a master's in computer science, creating all these crazy apps and shit? Probably not. But it's like, it gets you into this realm of like, who are you competing with to maintain and, access the type of lifestyle you want? And so really, I come back to Joe's comment on like the investment aspect of school. It is an investment, and not all of the investments pay off in the same way, but it's something where there's like a value to that process. And so kind of like where I was coming at this from, like coming back to school as a quote unquote mature student, like someone in my 30s, I compare my experience now to when I was like, 21 and in school. And it's like, it's worlds apart, it's literally a decade apart. And so like, there's been a lot of life change, there's been a lot of personal change, but like, man, my focus is just so different because it's like, I've been to the parties, I've been to the fun shit. I've been to the social stuff. Now it's like, it's about the beans,
That's what I say as well as a mature student. When people ask me about going back, I say, I have friends. I've partied so hard I don't drink anymore. I have a girlfriend. I'm not there to do anything except for clock in and clock out.
You're there to extract value from that experience.
Like, pull up and be like, yo, like, I know what the alternative is, and the alternative is sitting behind a desk waiting for someone to tell you what to do.
Or waiting for someone to come and just drop shit on you.
Exactly.
So literally just come to your desk and be like, things look like they're going really good today. Get ready for a change. Boom. And you have nothing you can say about it.
Nothing, because you have no stake in the company. You have no ownership. You have no value. Mm-hmm. You're valueless.
Your value is in providing your time to work. And so like, man, it's a hard pill to swallow no matter what. And I think a lot of people, they go back and forth. Everyone's financial situation's different. Maybe you're not in a position to take out debt to go to school. Maybe your life is, crazy. You have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, I was very fortunate that I was able to go back to school.
Very fortunate. But
I took on a lot of debt, but I also was blessed. Like, my parents hooked me up.
As an aside and kind of like last word on this, if you're thinking about going back to school,
do it.
And you think that your life could be even marginally better than it is now, you're going to pay back the money.
Yeah.
You'll make the money, you'll pay it back, and you're going to have a way better day to day. They say people spend like on average, and in my experience, it's like 40 hours a week you're spending at work. But that is only the time you're actually at work. So now let's think about all the time you're traveling. Let's think about the time on your weekends when you're answering emails, the time on Sunday night before you go back Monday morning where you're dreading
And then just
being back in that space.
Just to minuscule it down even more, just like the hour before and after work you spend getting ready.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do anything else. You are literally devoted to taking a shower, getting ready, putting your clothes on that are specifically for work. Sorry, you can't come do this. Sorry, you can't do that. Sorry, honey, can't take the garbage out. I gotta go to work.
Hey, I have a great idea. Let's go on this fun trip. Oop. Boss says I can't get it off.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, for the majority of people, we all like to think that we're going to be the person that, like, makes it. Man, I thought I was for a while, you know? And, like, I still think I can. I have 40 hours a week that are contractually mandated, and most of the time where I got to get it in. So I may as well be getting it in on something that is going to get it over with fast as possible. Whether that be, like, salary on the high end or, like, you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's it.
So here's an interesting anecdote. So I was working a sales job and, like, pretty cool job. Like, it was a really cool job, man. I made signs and, like, decals and posters and, like, but it was, like, commercial. Like, this is a commercial company, like, doing, like, this is, like, a 7-figure-a-year company, okay? Awesome place. Good people there. Guy taught me, the owner there, taught me a lot about business and just, like, everything about life. So it was awesome. It was a lot. It was hard work sitting in an office. Dude, I was working 12-hour days, 5 days a week. Sometimes bringing my computer home on Saturday and banging out like a 6-hour day. Like, at like 23, 24 years old. Like, you know, it was a lot. But it was cool. Like, the shit we would do is cool. We do, like, vehicle wraps, like fleet wraps, get the design stuff like that. And then, like, I don't know, I kind of got bored with it, man. And then, like, contract of a lifetime came across the desk, the Memorial Cup, that, like, the CHL, the Canadian Hockey League. It's like the major junior, yeah, kind of like the professional NHL funnel team, like where they draft from. The huge tournament came to Kamloops, which is like, it's been around for like 80 years. It's a big tournament, and like millions of dollars in revenue come through the town when this happens. And yeah, we got the bid. I won the contract to like redesign the arena, like aesthetically, obviously not structurally, but like aesthetically. So all the pillars, all the stairs, the railings, the banners hanging around, like putting walls up to, I guess, structurally, and some we built the concourse on the far end and like branded that whole thing. Did like all the TSN branding for the media scrums, like, oh, that was like on TV, and like that was, for me, was like, oh, it was a dream. Like, I grew up playing NHL video games and designing your own arena and doing all that kind of stuff in custom teams, and like had just wanted to do it for my entire life, man. And then like those like 2 months that I got to do that, I loved my job. I worked for free, man. Like, I would show up hours early, dude. I would stay hours late, man. Like, I'd answer emails on Saturday, on Sunday, man. I'd take phone calls on fucking my birthday. Like, I was all about it. It was the coolest thing ever. It's like, if I could bottle that, man, do that every day for the rest of my life, oh, I'd do it. And I was like, what else could I do that's like that? Where it's like every day you just love what you do. Mm-hmm. You just can't believe that's your job. People are like, oh, why don't I take that trip? Why don't I like buy this like $100,000 car, you know? You only live once. It's like, man, why not put 100 bands down on your fucking education and become do something crazy that you just are like, oh, like, I could never do that, or everyone's told me I could never do that. And it's like, why not you, man?
That's
like,
it.
So I went back to be a vet. My backup plan is to be a pediatrician, be a doctor that works with kids, and my backup plan for that is to be a lawyer, dude. Like, you know, like, and it's like, dude, all three of these things, yeah. I'm just like, imagine, I'm like, the lawyer thing's a bit of paperwork I might not enjoy, but also like law. What an amazing career.
Great career,
People
man.
think of law, they think of like three aspects, like criminal, family, and what? Like financial.
Tax law. financial law,
Tax, family, and criminal law.
Yeah.
But like, man, think about how many niches are inside of each of all these little things, man. Like, I love animals, man. I could go to law school, do tax, criminal, or family, and go work in animal specific firms for like these I could go work for the SPCA, dude, and be like one of their lawyers they have on retainer, and just be like, dude, I love what you guys do, discount my services, like just put me on retainer, ball out. I just work animal related cases, always swing it in favor for the animal, dude, and just like do that for the rest of my life, clean conscious, chilling. I go work for sanctuaries, offer my services for cheap, dude. I'm like, yo, as long as like I can chill here whenever I want.
Yeah.
You know, like,
making sure people aren't getting fucked by contracts
Oh,
and whatever,
for
and
sure,
regulations and
you
all that
know?
red tape.
find a really awesome vet clinic and be like, yeah, throw me on retainer. And I just get like 20 boys I believe in that put me on retainer, that believe in me, and I'm like, cool, we're set. I work with animals. It's a dope gig. Just don't let people fuck over animals by law, and I can sleep at night. I'm making good money.
Yep.
You know, like there's so many niches.
You open a lot of doors in getting your education that would otherwise permanently stay closed to you. You got to enjoy what you do. That's like kind of the biggest takeaway that I got from what you were saying. And like, you absolutely do. Because like you spend so much of your time doing things that support your lifestyle and support your family, support your livelihood, that if it's something that you hate, like that literally creates a negative state for you and your person that you carry with you and hold on to, it's time for a change. Like a figure that'll make this absolutely wild for you. You can look this up online. There's this app, for lack of a better term. You can probably find this off Google. You type in your age, and it's going to tell you how many days, roughly, you have to live based on life expectancies of people in your country and otherwise, right?
Jesus Christ.
You click one other toggle, it's going to show you how much of that remaining time is spent when you're sleeping.
Oh, no.
So it literally gives you this printout of a measurable time being like, this is
You have
all
this
the
much time to
active
get
time
it
that
in.
you have left in your life on average.
Oh, God.
And so
What's that called?
I can't remember. You'll Google it, you'll find it. I looked at that, and it was eye-opening for me. Because it's just like, you think like, oh, I'm 30. I've got like, 60 years plus
You're
left
going to
to
be
live.
asleep for over half
I'm
of
going to be
it.
asleep for over half of it. So it's like,
And you're going to be working for over half of the other half of that.
it's so all of
So
that
you've got
to
a
say,
fraction.
all of that
You've
to
got
say,
like 12 years left of free time to live.
counting it out hours on hours.
Guessing.
Literally.
You probably have about 12 years of free time left.
That's probably not too far off. And so
Which is
all of
fucking
that to
crazy,
say,
dude.
if you don't get some type of fulfillment in what you're doing, you better at least have financial fulfillment, like it takes care of your bills. But if you don't have some kind of fulfillment in what it is that you're doing, brother, yesterday was the best time to switch. Today is the next best.
Absolutely. Sidebar. I thought you were going to lead this way when you were talking about if you're not finding fulfillment in what you're doing to support, say you have a house, a wife, kids, you've got to go to work to pay the mortgage, to put food on the table, to take the dog to the vet.
Yep.
All these things.
You or your partner has to. Like,
all these
and
pressures. Or
probably
you guys
both
might
of
be
you.
sharing it, though.
Probably
You might be
both of
sharing
you.
it. You probably, more than likely, both of you. You guys are more than likely sharing it. Regardless of who the partner is, man, if you don't love what you're doing, trying to provide for your house, your fam, all these, like, external stressors. Don't touch that. Externals. Sorry. Dell almost pressed the no button in the garage.
I was about to hit the kill switch.
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, essentially, I'm just like, I feel like there could be a case to argue that if you don't love what you do for the reasons that you have to do them, instead of like hating what you do, and a lot of the times you're going to start channeling that hate towards like the reason why you're doing it. It's like if you're supporting a house, a wife, kids, a dog, family, food on the table, and you hate what you do to support those things, you're probably going to wind up building a huge resentment towards the reasons why you're doing it, hence the house, the kids, the dogs. And that's just not, it's a slippery slope, man. You hate your job, you're going to beat your wife. No, only if you drink Monster Energy drinks. Alright, we've lost how many sponsors already?
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Monster, if you'd like to sponsor us in the future, we'll officially redact that statement. That's
100%.
That's not the official stance of the Garage Chats pod.
No, I had a Monster the other night and it made me throw up. It was so good, dude.
You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that. Like, ending on that note of loving something. One of the things that I wanted to chat about today, so funny how it happens, man. I had like 4 or 5 different topics that I was like, oh, these would be great for the Garage Chat. They're probably going to find their way into the next Garage Chats. But one thing that I think it'd be a cool thing to end on, man, what are you loving this week? Like, doesn't have to be this week per se, but like recently, like what's something that you're doing, you're finding, you're having that you're just like, oh man, this.
Man,
I got one bottled if you need to think.
No, I'm ready.
All right.
I aside from Kahawa Pride FC, my soccer team down in Kenya, shout out to the boys. My true like holy shit spark has come back moment. It's been honestly like over the last year, but specifically in the last few weeks, the mode changed. Okay, same activity, but the mode changed. I started playing ice hockey again after like a 10-year hiatus. I used to play goalie, and like it's an expensive thing to upkeep. And when I turned 18 and got that head injury, I just did not play sports anymore. So like, yeah, and I just like got gear because we started the ball hockey team. And I've been in love with it, man. The social media aspect, doing all the sponsorship for the jerseys.
Shout out Ball Hogs.
Shout out the Kamloops Ball Hogs. Like, just a great team full of great guys. Did it for fun. Turned into just like the most electric program probably in ball hockey history in Kamloops. And that's saying a lot. There's some serious teams here, but no one's more serious than the co-ed recreational Kamloops Ball Hogs, sponsored by Summit Electric. That team is something special. And anyways, it just like sparked the whole thing. We had a huge run last year, and it's so funny because it's just, you know, it's like some co-ed rec ball hockey, man. But like everyone bought in. Like it was all everyone on board, and like everyone has a pretty strong hockey background, so it was good. And then that kind of same group started doing ice hockey, just pickups. We're looking to join a league for next year, but like we're doing like there's like 30 guys come out Monday, and I started playing with the TRU club program too, the Loggers, and like I'm just like playing as their third string practice goalie. So if one of their goalies doesn't make it to their practices, like I go. And like, man, some of their guys are nasty. Some of their guys played for like SFU. One of their goalies played for like an East Coast team that is like Division 1. Like their players are good.
They got some
like,
beasts out there.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I've played with it was such a different range of people in the last like 6 weeks. I started playing ice hockey again after taking a 10-year hiatus. It was like there's some guys I'm playing with, you know, that have like maybe played for a year or two that are just like out there trying to like play, and then there's like guys that have played junior and guys that have just like played rep growing up, and then guys that like really fucking played and like Div 1 or like played some sort of college hockey. And like you can like I can tell where I stopped playing. It's very clear where I stopped playing. Like it's like I have guys that are playing like junior B shooting on me and like lower. Junior B is it's like tough. Like there's a couple guys I know that play junior and like they're ripping shots on me, but it's like I can see them still.
Yeah.
You know, like they're gonna score 3 out of 5 on me. Like they're pretty sick, dude. Like if it's like a 1-on-1, like they're probably gonna rip 4 out of 5 on me. Like it's hard playing Tendy. But, like, man, you get into, like, some of these guys that play college, man, and, like, they come across that blue line, man. They're, like, pretty far out, dude. Like, they're, like, 40 feet out when they rip these things. And, like,
just a laser.
Dude, it's a laser, man. Like, I literally, you can't see it. And, like, I don't know. The difference is just so crazy. And, like, but it's been motivating. Like, I've just been like, holy shit. Like, first time I went out, I let in, like, 10. You know, I just hadn't been out there in a while, and, like, every time I go, man, I've got it down to, like, last time I was out in 3. And it's, like, full, like, hour and a half skate, dude. Like, you know, 15 on 15, and, like, I'm, like, obviously having fun, but it's, like, I want to play, dude. And,
Man,
like,
and it just reminds you.
I'm back. I feel like I'm back. Sorry.
No, I'm happy you finished off. Like, it just reminds you the difference in capability between someone who does and someone who watches.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought, like, pick any professional sport, like, the lowest stringer in that would be the most destructive person you've ever played against, playing in, like, a local, like, it wouldn't even be comparable. Like, you'd be like, how are you this fucking good?
It'd eviscerate them.
Yeah. And it's like, what always would get me is, like, I remember back in the days when, like, you know, you'd go to the bar and watch, like, UFC and stuff, right? And it's like, man, boys, like, these guys are pros, man.
Yeah.
Like, these guys would absolutely handle 95% of the people on Earth, you know, 98% of the people on Earth.
Full Nelson!
And you got these.
Put him in a full Nelson!
You got this fat, like, 50-year-old dad sitting there being like, oh, nope, not on me. Wouldn't work on me if you tried that. And I just think it's so funny, man, because I'm like, man, your delusion only exists because of how disproportionately
like,
far you are from that person. Like, the
Truthfully,
best person you know at this activity would be getting absolutely tooled by the bottom string of someone playing at this. Like, it's crazy.
The disparity's unbelievable.
It's
man.
crazy.
And, like, to put that in example, my brother, stepdad, my brother's father-in-law, and, like, 2 brother-in-laws. Like, we all went out, did a boys' trip down to Vancouver, watched the Canucks game, okay? Fucking Quinn Hughes, man, okay? Rated the number 2 defenseman in the NHL, depending who you ask. Cale Makar and him, 1 and 2, okay? This guy, Dill, he is one of the best skaters ever, okay? You watch this guy skate, it's like nothing you've ever seen before, man, okay? And you're watching it. You watch his highlights. You watch him skate. It's every game, man. Like,
art form.
It's an art form, man. Like, he's coming in against the best in the world, dude. The best in the world. 32 teams. Like, every single one of these players that he's playing against are in, like, the top 300 best skaters in the world, dude. For, like, that activity, just in general, skaters though, like, you know, not many better ice skaters than ice hockey professionals. Like, they can fucking shred. Like,
oh yeah.
So this guy just, like, every single game will, like, dance guys and make them fall. Like, they just, like, fall to the ice, man, because he's, like, going one way, stops, goes the next, turns around, like, does a cut, and, like, boys are just falling over, man. These are guys who've been doing this since they were 4 years old. For over 20 years on the most part, some of these guys, 25 years. Like, professionals getting paid millions of dollars. Getting just, like, walked and falling to the ice because they've lost their balance, dude, trying to keep up with this guy. I got to see this in person.
Wow.
Okay? And, like, Dylan, it is the craziest thing ever. The only thing, I couldn't imagine watching, like, Connor McDavid, dude. Like, it's generational, man. And, like, you just, like, yeah, you think about it, it's like you have a sick time at your beer league game, and you're like, yeah, I potted 6, like, or, like, you know, I made some 6 saves, and it's just like, dude, like, I play against the guy who played, like, Div 1 college. He takes 1 shot, or he actually tries from, like, the blue line, arguably a step back from the blue line, so he doesn't hurt me, man. And, like, I can't even see it. This guy didn't even get sniffed by the pros, man. Like, didn't even get sniffed. Like, these guys didn't even get an email, man, being like, hey, we're interested.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, so imagine the boys that, like, actually are, like, actively playing on contracts, what these boys are actually like, man. And, like, we just have boys walking around thinking that they could just, like, you know, they missed their shot because they, you know, their coach back in PV just had it out for them, dude. And it's like, no, man, like,
yeah,
it's different.
Different.
It's so crazy. That movie we watched.
Him.
Wow. Interesting movie.
What's
your take this far removed? Before we end this podcast,
man. So I enjoyed it. Honestly, like it did not review well. The the critics of the day of what have you really weren't gracious to it, and I can see, I see some of the things that they brought up. But man, just as like a unique experience, and like watching it in theater, I think there's a big difference when you like watch a movie in theater versus like Netflix, or, nobody buys DVDs and shit anymore. But like, watching it at home on the couch with your TV speakers versus watching something in the theater.
PirateMovies420.com, like some sort of cracked movie.
Bro, I was from the days of like LimeWire.
Dude.
Like
my brother and I, quick sub story.
Toasted a couple computers on LimeWire.
Trying to download Soulja Boy, Crank That. I remember this specifically, dude. In Maple Ridge, remember we lived there. We're downstairs. We download Soulja Boy, Crank That music video.
Yeah,
it was an MP4.
Huge music video, dude.
Sketchy though to download MP4s off LimeWire. Okay?
Yeah.
Also This is what prompted my switch to FrostWire.
Okay, sure.
Okay, this moment.
FrostWire was the more credible LimeWire.
It was. So, but it came out after.
It did.
We fucking open up this Soulja Boy Crank That music video. Boom, boom, MP4. Boom, warehouse, smut. Dude, I'm like 6 or 7. There's just like a crazy ragdolling happening in this warehouse to this poor woman, dude. And like speakers blasted. Like my brother's like, oh shit. Like that, dude. I don't think we've ever spoken of it again. So God forbid you ever listen to this, Kev. Like I remember that. Anyways, FrostWire took over LimeWire in our house after that. Sorry, yeah. I didn't know what we were talking about.
I liked him. I thought it was like a really cool movie, but in spirit of what you were talking about, it did such a good job capturing like the unique pressure that a high level athlete faces. Everybody can deal with stress in their different professions, especially once you get to like that elite level. But like that sense of like that overbearing, all-consuming, like your family's into it. You're like, there's so much on the line for this to happen, And then, like, I thought that was a really cool angle that, despite whatever else might have been a flaw with it, they really executed on.
I'd agree, and I'd argue that every time I watch Sunday Night Football or like Thursday Night Football, I am looking at all these guys being like, "You guys are fucked." Like. After watching that movie, these guys, like I knew, but like some of them are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're telling me out of all those personalities, 52 players on a football field, on a football team, okay, 52. Telling me that like what about fucking, he went crazy. Antonio Brown, dude. You ever heard about this guy?
No.
Man. Quick backstory on Antonio Brown. One of the greatest wide receivers in the NFL of all time. Okay? Young man. Played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Vontae Perfect fucking ended his career, dude, with like the craziest blindside hit of all time. Like literally killed him on the field. Okay? The guy was like dead essentially. major concussions, like trauma to the brain, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like this guy was never the same. Like there's like, you look it up on YouTube, it's like the moment Antonio Brown's life changed, like bunk,
His noodle got boiled,
blasted, dude. Okay. After that moment, dude, he turned into a freak, man. Like he was still good, but like he fucking like, dude. It started, in my opinion, it started with with the kick. He like was returning a punt, dude, and was like running. And, like, this guy was about to tackle him, and he, like, jumped in the air and, like, Spartan kicked him in the fucking head, man. Like, it was just, like, the most insane thing ever, dude. Like, no place on a football field for that, dude. Like, the announcers were like, and he goes up, Antonio Brown kicks him, man. And he's like, what? Like, dude, it was so crazy. Anyways, and then he wound up, like, lot of sick career for a bit. Tom Brady retires, comes back, plays for the Bucks. Antonio Brown goes to the Bucks to play with Tom Brady because he's like the sixth receiver ever. Halfway through the season, Antonio Brown freaks out, rips his jersey off and all his gear, dude, on the sidelines of a game, and just like starts fingering his coach and like fingering the crowd and like throwing shit into the crowd and shit, and walks off. And, like, never played football again, obviously, of course. Like, just a head case, man. But, like, since then, he's, like, it's super sad. He's, like, lost his kids. He's lost his fucking house. Like, all this crazy shit, man. Like, his wife left him. Like, I don't know, man. And he's, like, all over fucking Instagram and stuff, making a mockery of himself. Like, it's just so crazy, man. Like,
once the brain starts to take on a lot of damage, man,
but he was, like, acting
major
like
life
him.
Change.
You know? He was, like, acting like the guy from the movie. Like, well,
okay,
he was just, like, the villain, dude. Like, all over social media being the villain. And, like, I don't know, man. Like, all these personalities and all that money, you're telling me there's not some guys who just think they're, like, psychopaths.
Oh, yeah.
That just think they're the only, like, how do you think, dude, what do you think about, like, dude, like, Tom Brady, man? Like, what do you think that guy's inner dialogue is like? Like, 5 Super Bowls. I think he actually has 6. I could be wrong. I'm not the craziest NFL guy in the world, but, like, I like it. I think he has 6, potentially but I know he has 5 Super Bowl rings. He's won 5 Super Bowls, dude. Pretty sure that's the same amount that Buddy won in the movie, dude.
Word. Yeah.
You know, like, dude, 5 Super Bowls. Everywhere he went. Dude, he won 4 in New England or 5 in New England.
Yeah.
Went to Tampa Bay at like 42 years old. 1 season, another Super Bowl. Like, just the greatest to ever do it, man.
He's going down in history,
like,
for sure.
Already has, you know? He's done. He's retired. Dude, like, this guy just, like, operated at a standard in front of, like, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of... Dude, his life, bro, he got drafted in the 6th round of the NFL draft. Like, deep. Nobody wanted him, man. He was a 3rd-string quarterback, or like the 4th-string quarterback, man. And he like rolled up. This is the lore. This is the Tom Brady lore, man. On his like first day practice squad, rolled up to the guy Bill Belichick. I don't even know the guy who drafted him, Robert Kraft or something, and was like, "Something good afternoon. I'm Tom Brady. I'm the best decision this franchise has ever made." Just, like, from that moment, like, put his fucking head down, dude. Got called in, like, a playoff game a year and a half later as, like, the backup quarterback. Yeah. Both of these guys went out. Down by, like, 15. Guy comes in, bunk, wins the game. Next game, bunk, wins the game. Pretty sure he won the Super Bowl that year. First year. They just put him in. He just took over. Won everything. Dude, never looked back. He just started from then on out. Like, they fucking slipped up. He came in. Tom Brady, lore began. And for like 20 years, had the league on lock. Dude. Like,
I think, like, his name was synonymous with football.
Yeah, man. But, like, you gotta think about it, man. Like, he's been on, like, everything, dude. His whole life. What is his life? Like, imagine the effects that has. Like, imagine being able to study someone like that. In, like, a laboratory setting. Being like, yo, like, I just pulled you out of all of this. You don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are you? Like, you know, like, you're a fucking alien. Like, you've just been, like, glamorized and put on a pedestal. Your brain is melted, dude. How much dopamine have you had in your life? Mm-hmm. No one should be allowed to throw a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. Do you know how much dopamine they probably get when 85,000 people erupt around them and they know 40 million people at home are on TV, dude? Dude, people just, like, being out there, a part of, like, the halftime show holding something, are freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Imagine being the guy who, with no time on the clock, rips a fucking touchdown pass or runs it in, dude. And, the whole world, dude, billions of dollars in gambles just broke, and bets just broke. Like, all this fucking, dude, like, everything, dude, all the shit, all the noise.
Yeah.
These guys deal with that we don't even think about. And it's like, fuck, man, I hit an incentive. I just got paid fucking $7 million to win this game. Like, Super Bowl incentive, like, all these things we don't even think about. The pressure. Mm-hmm. Imagine throwing a football for $7 million, let alone, like, everything else.
Yeah.
The contract deals, the sponsorship deals, all the shit riding for your kids, man. All that money you make, the fame, the fortune, the dopamine that hits when it actually happens, man. It's like cashing in on the biggest jackpot of your life. Mm-hmm. Studying that shit. What are the effects on these people? Who are these people, man?
I think it's...
Is that why they can reach superhuman strength and ability?
That's an awesome train of thought. The angle I'll hit it from is like, man, everything you said, ... and then you go home. And then you go home, man. You know, Tom Brady, famous family man, right? Comes home to his wife, his kids. Hey.
2 years later, divorced. Did you know that?
No.
Divorced.
Really?
Giselle Bündchen, divorced.
Oh,
was
shit.
Fucking her tennis trainer. No kidding. No kidding. Was fucking her tennis trainer.
Whoa.
Yes. Tom Brady's a single man.
Brother. Whoa. Crazy. Whoa. So now you think about dealing with that type of, like, relational dynamic within the scope of everything else. But, like, I think that, you know, when you talk about that experience, like, really, you're talking about, like, with the dopamine hits, everything else. It's like you have this experiential high that is completely tied to your ability to be overly effective in this super specific realm.
Yeah.
You know? In my mind, it's like, I think the people, and you can look at this from any other thing, you know, famous celebrities, actors, you know, people that make millions in business. It's like, how does that success affect you in the quiet moments? And it's like, you know, when you go home and it's, you know, it's just you, or it's you with your family, and now it's like this realm that you're just like, you're, you know, you're godly in this realm. Can you, and how do you, you know, transition back to just being dad? How do you transition back to just being, you know, Joe or Dill, or like you're just, you know, you come back into this realm, and it's like, I think the people that figure out that piece, you know, are the ones that not only have the greatest longevity in what it is they're doing, because that is basically equitable in my mind to like having a way to deal with all that pressure, all that immensity, right? And then like the people that have, you know, I think at some level you have to just have a peace of mind for where you end up and how you are. And the fact that, you know, none of it's given, and it's just like, none of it's granted, you know? And so like you're there for a while and then you're not. And what do you do once you're not? I think the people that have a meaningful answer to that question are the people that are going to continue to be figureheads even after they're done whatever it is they're doing, you know, whatever field they excelled in so much. And then you see the other side of it, where when that spotlight goes away, right? I think more than ever you see it with like celebrity status. You know, you think about all the child actors who were like brought up in all these, oh, they're going to be the next big thing and whatever. And so like from the time they're like, kids, they're building into this idea and this identity, and so much of their maturation, their development, what constitutes normal in their reality is built upon this idea that's been manifested of what they're going to be and and then it's like, and one day that all ends, and what do you do then?
Who are you?
Who are you?
When you're plucked out of the world and thrown into a lab. Who are you?
Yeah, bro.
All right, Bill.
It's cool. When you said that, like when I was initially started this asking you like what were you like and what were you loving this week, man, you gave me so much more than I was anticipating. My thing seems like so insignificantly small relative to that huge, incredible tangent, football and sports history, like deep dive that we went on for the last like 20 minutes. Like, man, I love it. I love it. That is the essence of Garage Chats.
That is the essence of
Garage Chats. It's these unplanned tangents that just lead to these like incredibly involved conversations.
Truthfully, and like now you know so much about Tom Brady
that I didn't know before.
Just because I was trying to talk about how I've been enjoying playing pickup hockey.
So for those of you looking for what to expect in future Garage Chats,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. This is Garage Chats. If you like this, tune in for the next one. One thing I'm really loving this week, man, the Cove sodas.
Or Cove sodas.
Cove sodas, man. I get it at the gas station every time I fill up. It's like I think it's like 5 calories or some shit like that. Like one of those 0 cal, 0 sugar sodas, whatever. I like the cola one myself. Dude, love it. I'm on a weight dietary restriction right now. So like if I can get my soda in and it's just like not doing anything to affect those all important numbers, man, even more so. But Dan, this week I'm loving the Cove sodas.
Dill loves his Cove sodas.
Cove soda, if you're interested on a sponsorship, I am all in on it. Whatever you want me to say. I'll drink one every episode. I'll crack it right next to the mic every time.
I think we even have a funnel somewhere in this garage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We can put that somewhere.
Nice. Okay. Well, Garage Chats number 1.
Garage Chats number 1.
Coming to a close, bro. Pleasure. Happy to be here with you, Joe.
Yeah, who should we have on next?
We'll source some of your comments on the podcast to see who we should have on for some future guests. If you got some ideas, be sure to send them out to us.
Yeah, the comment with the most upvotes, we're gonna have on.
We'll find him. We'll find a way.
We will always find a way.
Buddy, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, what are you doing tonight?